What's up, yo? So I just got back in from running this. This is a 25 cal Hatsan Sortie. You were just out there with me. I just ran it over the crony over at that field at the park I go to, and we saw that it did get a little better FPS. It was able to cycle again. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this apart and get back in there and try to make a couple of hammer spring adjustments. So this may be somewhat of a cringe video because, you know, when I take these apart, I am not gentle with these guns. I pretty much beat the shit out of them. I take care of them, but I beat the shit out of them. So, you know, so you might cringe from the way I handle this or manhandle this or however you want to say it, but I still want to show you everything that I said I wanted to show you. I hope the angle is okay. I know it's upside down. I'll try to do what I can to show you everything, but let's see what we can do here. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take off this folding stock, and I'm just going to unscrew it from here. It's just like a little generic pick rail, almost like a 3D printed stock. So that's out of our way. So there's also 3 screws I gotta unscrew. There's one here, just a Phillips head screwdriver, screw there, and a screw there. So those are the ones that we have to remove to get the gun out of its stock. I got my little magnetic computer screw pad there, so that way nothing rolls away. Now the gun is not degassed. It's at 200 bar. I don't know if that'll focus on that. So let me just make sure. So it is uncaulked, so we're good there. So let's just take this 3rd screw out. And now this just slides right out of there. And this is the receiver. You know, I showed you the actions under the barrel. Under the barrel shroud, the little trigger, you know, action or whatever the hell that's called. I don't even know what these terms are, so if I just start making up words, you know, you kind of know what I'm getting at here. This little punch pin here is loose, so if I end up putting a little bit of pressure on it, it will wiggle out, so I keep an eye on that. And here's that little plate I told you about with the mechanism, the semi-auto mechanism. Now, before I started the video, these screws were actually loose. Like, even though I tightened them down before, I was able to just put the screwdriver in and just basically just spin them. So I just tightened them up again. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that off just so you can see the mechanism before I go and do the hammer spring adjustment. So just bear with me here a second. Again, I got a little magnetic pad sitting right here. Again, from that company called iFixit. That's who I get this little screwdriver kit from. It's a computer screwdriver kit. It's magnetic. Has a, you know, this one's probably the $30 to $35 kit here. I don't know if I showed it to you before, but there's all the bits on it, so I can get into max, you know, security keyed, whatever. So, and it works perfect for this with these small pieces. So just unscrew that. There's the back piece. It's got grease and oil on it because you need grease in these guns here. So, and that's the mechanism in there. So if I move it, you see how it works. Not sure what just happened there. Oh. So basically, because the back plate isn't pushing down when you move it, these pieces will pop out of place. So you just gotta be careful about that. So, and that really is why this is greased and lubed up as much as it is. So, but again, you can see how the caulking mechanism works. I showed you the rail. You can see it going here, and see if it'll focus. I don't know if you can see like the threads on that rail where I don't have it screwed all the way in. And if I take this barrel shroud off, you know, I showed you that piece that spins. So both of them are kind of loose, so I could just spin that rod or rail as I see fit. But where I found that little sweet spot for it, it's fine. I'm not gonna mess with that. So again, I just wanted to show you that. You can see how it works if I cock it all the way back, and then the blowback system. So I'm just gonna put this back on. Get these back in place. And then we'll flip this thing around and take a look at the hammer spring and the retention screw. I'm going to tighten these down not pretty good, but a little better than I did before. I'm not even tightening them right now. They're basically just snug. Give that a twist, twist, twist. Yeah. Try not to strip them. Cool. Let me get a bigger bit here. Cool. So those are on. So that was the mechanism. Like I said, I showed you under the barrel shroud before, that rail, and that's where it screws in, and that's the mechanism and how that works. Alright, so something isn't right here. So I gotta go back in here and figure out why it's not cycling. Because as you can see, it's stuck. It won't even move forward, so something isn't right. Like I said, this is gonna be cringe because I go in here, I experiment, I take a look, I see, I break, and then end up having to try to fix it. So before I touch that hammer spring, I want to get here. Find out why. So basically what happened is you see how the gear is only in the middle of this piece. When it popped up, it disaligned itself. Can't making up my own words here. So what we need to do here is, let me do this. Just to grab. That's that little arm right there. And now I can move it back into place. So then I take this and line that back up. I don't know if you caught all that, but now I should be able to get it to cycle again. So everything is there. Got a little Mobile One motor oil. I just give it a dab here and there. That synthetic oil. And I don't know if you saw it, the piece just popped again. Just because there's this back plate actually puts the pressure on it to keep it in place. So let's get this screwed back in. All trial and error here. I have no idea what I'm doing sometimes. I just go in here, give it a try, see if it works. If it doesn't work, then I take it apart again and try again until I can get it fixed. It was working before, so I know it's not broken. It's something I usually do. And I know in one of the comments I said I wouldn't recommend this gun. You know, don't even buy it, but it's only because you can get an HPSS for the same price, twice the power. So why pay for something half power when you can get something twice as better? At least twice as better. So now this should cycle. There's no safety on this now, so alright. And then I just decock it. So the next thing I need, well, I actually have to caulk it again, but the next thing we need to do is, let's see, this right here is the retention screw on the hammer. And then back here is where we put the Allen wrench to make the adjustment. So I just got to find the right size Allen wrench. This one. So here's what's, so check this out. I'm not even sure if this is the right, so this is what I'm talking about with that retention screw. So let me caulk this. It's actually loose after I tightened it the other day. I can just put this right here and it's already loose. So I just tighten it back down right now, but that's why this was spinning in there. So this would have stopped working again. So I'm going to loosen this up. I'm not going to take it out. And then put this in here. I don't know if that's the right size, maybe this one. And I'm going to give it actually I'm going to take this out so I can see if it's cranking. So I'm going to remove this retention. I don't know if it's going to focus, but that's the retention screw. And then if you look inside, if it'll focus in there, you can see the threads on the retention screw. So I'm going to make this adjustment. There's one counterclock, so that's tightening on the hammer spring. I'm going to do two. I'm going to do 2.5. So 2.5. Let me get the magnetic bit here. I think this is it. That's too big. There we go. Wrong way. So that's the retention screw. And like I said, it was loose when I just got back. So now I'm just going to put this in here and lock this down. I know they say don't put too much pressure, you don't want to damage the threads, but I just tried that and as you've seen it was loose. So I'm going to put a little pressure on there, not too much. So now that's locked down. This shouldn't be able to spin. So I can't turn this anymore. So that's good. I'm just going to give it one more check. Okay, so that's good. And then this screw right here, that's the retention screw that holds in this piece here. So I'm going to just check that, make sure that's still tight. That's too big. Too big. Where are you? Too big. Okay. and that was loose too. So I'm tightening that back up. So you see, these screws come loose that easy because I tightened everything back up when I was working on this last time. Alright, so that should do it there. So that's tight. That's tight. I'm just going to decock this. I can still caulk it. It's decocked now. Let me just check these screws again. So basically everything I tightened up last time was loose again. Again, I didn't tighten it down. I only snugged it down. But we got the back plate tightened. I'm able to caulk it back. Got the retention screw locked. That's tight. The this little plug piece here, that was loose again too, so I just tightened that back down. Let's see, let me just tighten this so that's not the right size. That's too small. Okay, so that's good. Like I said, I don't mess with this. So I think I said I did 2.5 turns on the hammer spring, and I'm gonna have to watch this again, make sure I turned it the right way, but I'm pretty sure I turned it counterclockwise. So, but that's it. That's the receiver. That's how you make the hammer spring adjustments. You gotta loosen that retention screw in there, or check it if you're having problems, because if that's loose, then the retention screw it might be loosening up in there. The pressure of the spring might be, spinning it so it's loose. And then I showed you the mechanisms behind this plate, and I've shown you before under the barrel shroud. The action under the barrel shroud. So let's get this thing back together. Again, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make it back out there again, but we'll try. So I got the stock. That just pops in. I'm sure you didn't even see it because I'm not good at doing this stuff on camera. So let's get these screws back in here. These don't have to be too tight because it's just, tight enough, but I don't want to damage the stock either. And the last one goes right there. So good. These, like I said, I checked them when I got back. These screws here were loose. So, even though I just checked them. Cool. I couldn't really get into that one, it's blocked, but so that's it. Safety works again. Locks the trigger. So we're good there. I can caulk it. And this buttstock is somewhat of a pain in the ass to put back on. It's just sloppy. And there it is. So we just made the hammer spring adjustments to the 25 cal Hatsan Sortie. That was it right there. Everything was loose again. So I'm gonna see if I can run back out there, and if there's no one there, then maybe I can get a few shots over the crony again. If not, I'm gonna have to try to run back out there again tomorrow. But that's pretty much it. That's the gist of it. And again, you know, I don't like working with the air, pressure filled, but you know, I just wanted to make a quick video here, and I don't know when I'll be able to get my tank refilled either, so I want to kind of reserve the air. That's not an excuse, that, as everyone says, safety first, but I'm pretty confident that again, no excuse. I should do safety first. So, but there it is. Let's see what happens when I bring it back out to the field, and we'll go from there.